What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the 10 best brawlers to max out since the update. So of course there's been a bunch of meta shifts and it's just absolutely crazy right now. So here's some of the best brawlers to max out, especially pushing ranked, ladder, wherever you want to go on right now, wherever you want to avoid the chaos which is going on right now. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So starting off with one of my favorite brawlers in this meta, which is often overlooked of course with Lily and Frank becoming so good, it is Meg. Meg received a rework and it's just made her really strong, if not broken. Legit, she is incredible in this meta. So I thought it'd take me a few days to figure out whether she's actually better or not, but trust me, the damage inflation is just absolutely crazy. So they actually nerfed the projectile damage, but then buffed of course ×2 the amount of projectiles that she shoots. So of course she just absolutely shreds when she gets onto a target. So she can be countered by outranging her, but at the same time she has so much HP, 8,000 now. So once she eventually gets into range, especially with the healing gadget, she rips through every single brawler. Now she's kind of considered as a tank counter. For example, you know, I was struggling on my berry push with Lily's and Frank's, whatever else. I just slapped Rage on Meg in the mid and he just ripped through everything. And Lily's couldn't kill Meg, especially with the knockback star power as well. Meg is just pretty much invincible in this meta. The next brawler you should definitely max out for this meta, it is Kette. So even though she received no balance changes, she's pretty much an S tier brawler, near enough top 5 brawler in the game, literally because of Frank and Lily. They're that dominant, trust me guys, but you have to run a tank counter like Kette. So the reason why she's so good is because she just rips through Frank's HP. Of course, with one shot, she literally makes Frank from the tankiest tank in the game to like half HP, 7k HP, which is absolutely crazy. Of course, you got the hyper charge as well, which you can just feed off Frank like crazy. And I know Frank has his anti-stun gadget, but he's going to eventually run out of those, right? Especially with other meta countering brawlers. He's going to run out of them really fast. So Kette just rips through him. He's the best counter. Also, Lily has a lot of HP as well, so Klette's a good counter. Meg as well, a lot of HP. Kette can counter. Same goes with Draco. So you get the vibes here. Kette is just by far the best tank counter out there at the moment. So the next brawler we must absolutely max out for this season, we have Draco. So although he's kind of suffering within the tank meta, I still think there's a lot of cheesy strategies out there, which again, people often forget about because they're always focusing on Frank and Lily, whilst Draco is still absolutely OP, borderline broken because of his last stand gadget and his shredding star power combination is just so good. People just don't know how to utilize Draco effectively. I know he's not literally invincible with the last stand gadget, but if you guys play Draco a lot, learn how to perfect his gadget, use it as late as possible. Of course, it requires good patience and also good internet connection to get it at the right time, but if you can get it at the right time and surprise the opponents 4 times in a game, it's going to make so much of an impact. You can get so much pressure with Draco. So although you're not going to just rip through literally everything with Draco, he still gets a lot of pressure. You know, 11k HP with the dragon, additional speed boost, additional damage reduction as well. It's just going to take forever for the opponents to pinch you out, so then it can allow your teammates to push up the map and gain control as well. So I just love Draco in this meta, easily one of the best. So jumping into the next brawler we must max out for this season, we have Max again. So I've recommended it pretty much the entirety of last meta, and it's the same here. She received no nerfs, and she received no nerfs to her hypercharge. That's the main reason why she's so good. So without the hypercharge, she's just okay. She deals some good damage, and she's only good in the right hands. But with the hypercharge, I feel like anyone can use that because the speed boost that you get is insane. Again, the tip with Max, try and group as many teammates as possible because then you get even more of a boost to your next super. And it's just the fact that she synergizes pretty much everyone, even in a tank heavy meta. Imagine Frank with an infinite speed boost and you give him that energy drink with the hypercharge, he gets the super boost. It's just broken with pretty much everything, so Maxi can never go wrong with her. So jumping into the next brawler, you must absolutely max out for this season. We have Mandy. So Mandy mains will be glad to hear that she's actually returned to the meta. She's one of the most troublesome brawlers I'm actually dealing with right now, especially on the long range maps. She gets super within 4 hits, which is crazy. You hit one person as well, and you just need 2 hits to cycle to another super. That just feels like you have infinite supers with Mandy, and of course, if you're a good Mandy, you can at least hit a few supers, unlike me on the second channel. But anyways, the reason why she's so good, she's great in knockout and bounty. I'm starting to see some use cases elsewhere as well, but again, you've got to be a good Mandy player. She's just really hard to push into it. For example, I played someone who played Mandy on Bridge Too Far, and I thought, oh, it's Mandy, I can just run whatever. But she actually 2-taps a lot of the meta options in Heist, and then she just has infinite supers to deal damage to the Heist safe. I don't know, there's a lot going on with Mandy right now. I think she's secretly a really strong brawler. So the next brawler we must absolutely max out for this season. We have Piper. So again, it's because of the new hypercharge that came out, it's made Piper pretty much an S tier brawler. Again, main reason being is because you can actually make assassin-like plays with Piper, which is just crazy. I know already people were starting to make really good aggro plays with the knockback gadget, etc. But now you literally knock back people with your super, and then you can knock them back again, and then you just get infinite ammo with the snappy sniping, and then of course you get a 25% damage boost as well, which is just absolutely insane. All things considered, really strong. And then you got to consider as well, on the long range maps, she still gets, like I said, a 25% damage boost. You combine that with a homemade recipe, and you can just 2-tap so many of the meta brawlers in the game right now. So I'm really liking Piper. People are kind of sleeping on this hype charge. So jumping into the next brawler, must absolutely max out for this season. We have Gail. So Gail has skyrocketed up the meta. He's easily minimum A tier at the moment. So there's a few reasons why. There's actually a glitch with his super damage right now. So if you didn't know, Gail can deal at most parts 2k damage with just one super in his normal form, and then sometimes even 3k damage if you get close enough to opponent, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because normally it deals about 1000 ish. And then you've got the hypercharge super as well, which deals just 2000 flat out if you hit both of those waves of supers, which is just crazy. But the strong thing about him right now is his cycling with his blustery blows star power. So that's why you want to use this star power, is because you want to stun people across to the wall. That enables you to cycle through to another super, which enables you to cycle through to your hypercharges, and the hypercharges just push people so far back, and it's impossible to miss. And eventually they're going to hit a wall, right? Whether that's going to be a wall in the middle, whether that's going to be a wall on the side of the map. You know, Gail is actually insanely strong. And you think, again, we've got all the top brawlers in the game. They're pretty much tanks or some type of aggressive idea. It's just complete brain dead meta, and Gail is a great counter to all of the brain dead brawlers. So jumping into the next brawler, must absolutely max out for this season. We have Chester. I don't know, I'm not joking, guys. Chester is actually really good. I kind of hate to say it myself because I'm not really a Chester hater, but he's just been trash for a while. But he's finally got the limelight again. I've been trying him out a ton. Also watching some competitive, and the pros are using him a lot right now with some good win rates. I think it's very good. So if you missed it, he received a rework again. Everyone's looking at Frank and Lily, but Chester's actually really good. He's a great counter to both of these brawlers, right? Because he has a lot of DPS now since the Bellomania rework. It means that his first bell deals double the damage. So essentially he's got a 2-bell sequence and then a 2-bell sequence, which is just insane for DPS, and that's the main reason why he's so good. His damage output is just absolutely crazy. You know, his average damage is going to be around like 3000 or something, which is just crazy to me. Again, you think of Lily, for example. If Lily teleports onto Chester, Chester can just rip through Lily, can rip through Frank, can rip through all of these toxic brawlers in the meta, so he can cycle through super so quick. I think Chester is incredibly strong in this meta. So the next brawler must absolutely max out for this season. We have Melody. So there's a lot of toxic brawlers in the meta, which kind of counter Melody, but at the same time, you play a lot of ranked. You know, Frank and Lily are going to be banned pretty much all the time, and Melody's still going to be strong. She received a HP nerf, which did a little bit. You can't be just absolutely brainless aggressive anymore, but you can still get a lot of value out of her, especially on heists, for example. Gem grab, she's still a big threat to those low HP brawlers. And again, I'm getting a lot of Melody now in ranks because people are just focusing on all of these other broken brawlers in the meta, and I can always sneakily go Melody. People forget about her, so I feel like it's a really good chance to play a lot of Melody in this meta. So moving on to the final brawler must max out for this season, we have Rico. So Rico is one of my favorite brawlers to use in this meta because there's so many tanks, and Rico loves it when there's a bunch of tanks because he can just farm supers. His super does a lot of damage, then he cycles through to his hypercharge, and his hypercharge is just crazy strong on the right Rico maps. There's a lot of good Rico maps in a rotation right now that have been added to the game. You know, there was a knockout map, for example, the other day, which was just Rico heaven. And then in the ranked rotation coming out in a few days, there's a lot of good Rico maps like penalty kick, for example, which again, it's just going to break the meta there. So I just think he hyper counters tanks. He actually a decent counter to brawlers like Frank because his super just deals so much damage. His multiple launcher gadget is still pretty strong as well. And like I said, on the good Rico maps, you pretty much can't touch him because he's got that gadget to fall back on. He's got super damage. He's got a hypercharge now. Everything about him is just so strong. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comment section below who you think are the best brawlers to max out. But yeah, the meta's changing a lot. I'll get a tier list out as soon as possible for you guys once the meta settles a little bit. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.